Hey everyone, Bronze Dragon here. If you've been on the Atlas Earth, Discord, or Reddit over the last 24 hours, you know the community is on fire with a very heated discussion. If you're new to the channel, I don't usually do quote-unquote rant videos. My goal is always to gather the facts, look at it from both sides, and find the best strategy for us as players to use that information to go forward. But yesterday evening, an announcement was made in the Whales section of the Atlas Earth Discord that has changed the end game of this game in a big way. It wasn't a general announcement to the whole population. It actually was only leaked out when people started asking about the icons on top players' profiles having changed to an icon that showed a 150,000 with a red strike through it. In this episode, we're going to look at that announcement and the text of it, the business logic behind it, and more importantly, what this might mean to us as players and our rent in Atlas Earth going forward. So if this sounds interesting to you, please stand by. Okay, to get started with this discussion, I want to read the statement as it was initially put out in the Whales channel to make sure that I don't get anything wrong. And I had, the statement was long enough that I had to break it into 3 slides so it wouldn't be too convoluted. Okay, let's get started. Hello, fellow whales. I am posting this here as it affects us most of all, and it was added to our FAQ just a moment ago. Speaking about being on the Atlas Earth or Atlas Reality website, information about the game. Hey, Atlas Earth community. Atlas Earth was built to be a fun cashback app that rewards your loyalty and lets you earn rewards from your activity. We've always been clear that this isn't an investment platform, but we know some of you love the game so much that you've spent a significant amount of money in the game, and that's awesome. It goes on. To keep things balanced and fair as the game grows, we're introducing a cap on how Super Rent Boost rates work at really high parcel counts. Here's what's changing. SRB boosts will now max out at 150,000 parcels. All parcels up to 150,000 and including 150,000 will still be the full 50 times multiplier on the Super Rent Boost. But any parcels beyond that threshold will earn at the standard rate for their tier, which is 2 times. And finally, it ends up with an example. How it works, if you have 150,010 parcels, parcels 1 through 150,000 get the 50 times multiplier SRB boost. Parcels 150,001 to 150,010 get the normal 2 times multiplier boost for that tier. Once you're at this level, the real competition is about your VIP status and how you play the game, not massive cashback multipliers. If you spent money at this scale, you're probably not relying on the cashback anyway. Important note, no one has hit 150,000 parcels yet. We're announcing this now so you can plan ahead if you're working toward building a massive empire. Thanks for being part of Atlas Earth. At 150,000 parcels, this currently affects 0 players, but only just barely. The King of Queens is sitting slightly below that number. For the vast majority of us, we will likely never see 150,000 parcels. However, if I were the King of Queens, I would be looking at my play plan very differently today. He gets 30 to 50 free parcels a day from the President badge income. If those new parcels don't qualify for the 50 times SRB multiplier, the incentive to keep growing or even protecting the title changes. Now, myself, I could easily say, hey, it doesn't affect me, so I don't care. But that's short-sighted. Anything that affects the game's economy eventually trickles down to affect every single person playing. Let's take a look at the business side of things. Sami has stated before that this game started as a proof of concept, more or less. I think the original math that they went through held up until this last year, when players like King of Queens burst onto the scene with massive parcel counts. I think that this forced them to go back and do the math again and extrapolate differently, figuring faster rates of expansion in the game. And this is where they decided that there needed to be a cap, albeit a soft one. When a player hits 150,000 parcels, they are in the neighborhood of $50,000 a year earnings. From a business point of view, I understand the decision to put in a soft cap. Atlas Reality has to ensure they remain a sound business. Their terms of service specifically say they can change the math to keep the game working. However, while I agree with the business logic of sustainability, I have to ask myself, is this just the tip of the iceberg? That's the concern that's been on my mind all day. When you see a soft cap like this introduced, it leaves you wondering if we are going to see more changes that lead to making less and less rent across the board. Is this a one-time balancing act, or is this going to start a trend? Regardless of the math, this was handled terribly. From the whale-only announcement, the way it leaked out, it was a bad look for Atlas Reality PR. The tone of the announcement, telling players who had spent a fortune that they probably weren't relying on the cashback anyway, is surprising. Whether you call it a game or an investment, people put money into the game with an expectation of how the rules work. To have those rules change right as the highest ranked player in the game reaches close to the new limit, so to speak, and then to be told you don't need that money anyway, is a tough pill to swallow. The interactions between the community, the moderators, and Sami today were intense. I've been watching from the sidelines, and I'm honestly surprised at how these confrontations went down. It could have been handled so much better. My strategy has always been to not put more money into the game than what I would have considered a gaming expense. And this illustrates why. The payouts in Atlas Earth are still some of the best, if not the best, in the play-to-earn space for 2026. But we have to keep our eyes open for these changes. What do you think? Was this a necessary move for the game's health? Or are you worried that this is the tip of the iceberg for further rent reductions? Let me know in the comments. Also, if you would like to discuss this, please join us on Sundays at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Time here on YouTube, where we have our weekly Atlas Earth themed live stream. Love to see you there. This has been Bronze Dragon. As always, I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy, and hey, I'll see you in Atlas Earth.